This is night 4 of Growth Bootcamp, and we've got some really cool things planned for you tonight. Tonight is all about how to get engagement. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to tell you the most exciting thing that you're going to see tonight is we are going to teach you how to have the equivalent of a swipe up feature, even if your account does not have 10K. In fact, we have found in our testing that this is better than a swipe up. You're going to get better conversions. You're going to get better results. So for those of you who are trying to drive customers and drive traffic to your website, you're in luck. That's like the bonus tip tonight. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we've already done 3 nights of teaching. Those lessons are saved for you in the Facebook group. We are not going to repeat that information because I want to value everybody's time. So please don't think that we're being rude if we say, okay, that was covered on night 2, that was covered on night 1. For anyone who's here, because it's night 4, we want to make sure that we're moving forward and that you know where you can find that content. Let's get right to it, Brock, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Here, I got my screen share ready. Oh, you got to enable me as a co-host, please, so I can share my screen.
I would be happy to.
I think that is the least of our technical difficulties tonight.
Thank you to Sally Sparks' cousin who helped us through she literally saved us. If you guys haven't seen one of the previous nights where we featured and brought her on, maybe it was during VIP, I'm not sure, but check her out because if you struggle with the tech, as I often do, you need a Sally Sparks cousin because that's what she does. And she's like, okay, you take care of your message. I will help you with all the tech. All right, let's do it, Brock.
Absolutely. Today's agenda, furthering your understanding with the algorithm, how to boost engagement, time on platform, stopping the scroll, calls to action, using stories to promote your feed, and our top engagement tips. So let's get into it here. Instagram, they use artificial intelligence, which maybe it sounds scary, maybe it sounds futuristic, maybe if you've seen The Social Dilemma, it freaks you out a little bit, but basically all artificial intelligence is like machines, computers, they can
now learn from our behaviors as human beings. So they use a complex web of data points to track your behavior, to track what you're doing, what you're not doing, how long the things you're doing, how long you're doing them for, and your attention to predict which content you want to see. So they are judging based off everything you're doing on Instagram what it is that you want to see, and it's in our best interest. It might seem scary if you watch The Social Dilemma, but it's in our best interest, at least when we're using social media, because Instagram is trying to make our experience the best possible experience based off our past behavior and what we've spent our attention on.
It pulls all of these data points together, and if you guys have not yet seen this documentary, like y'all are going to be fascinated by it. Like it's going to make so much more sense to you than the average person now. It's streaming on Netflix. It's called The Social Dilemma. It's just interesting, but I definitely think you should look at it. One thing that we're always hearing from people is, I'm really frustrated because the algorithm has dropped or Instagram's engagement is down. But what you don't take into consideration is that Instagram isn't saying like, oh, this person wants to comment, but we're not going to let them. That's not happening. Instagram isn't blocking anyone from liking your content. So the reason why your content isn't getting engagement is because it looks at a lot of different data points and your account isn't giving it some of these data points. So tonight, what we're going to do is teach you how to make sure that your account, if nothing else, you're making sure that you're hitting all of these data points. The one thing that we can't do is we can't create your content for you. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is, even if you have all of these data points, but your content sucks, people aren't going to engage. So tomorrow night, just as a little foreshadowing, tomorrow night we are going to teach you how the type of content you need to create if you really want to crush it. Okay, but that's what it's doing. It's looking at what you're posting. It's looking at all these data points and it's matching things up and saying like, okay, this is what this person wants to see.
Mm-hmm. And Instagram is huge. So when I hear people scared to niche down, or I hear that, oh, well, there's just not enough active people on Instagram. There's 1 billion active people on Instagram. Like as human beings, we can't even comprehend how big 1 billion is. There's 1 billion people on Instagram. But here's what's really interesting. The average person, the average account, and these are based on data that we have recently collected, the average person follows about 250 accounts, like at least 250 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, at the same time, the average person also only engages with less than 10 accounts per day. Mm-hmm. So the average person follows 250, but only engages with 10 of those. So to be one of those 10 accounts who your followers are engaging with, you have to be thoughtful with your strategy.
You got to hit all the data points. So you guys think about it. That means all of us are looking at less than 4% mm-hmm. of the accounts that we're following. Less than 4%. Here's that formula. Mm-hmm. It is the frequency and the depth that your interactions have with a particular account. So Instagram looks at your frequency, how deep you go with your engagement with a certain account, like a friend's account or whatever type of content they post. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to take a look at what type of content you often interact with. And then lastly, it's going to look at predictability based on not just you. It's looking at people who follow similar accounts, who have similar interests, who are of similar age, who are in similar locations, who are looking at similar hashtags. So it's not just looking at what you're doing. Like, mm-hmm. So for example, if everybody who you follow, and like there's a whole group of people who they look like, it's called a lookalike audience. They look just like you, the same age, same demographic, interested in the same things, like a lot of cross reference. And those other accounts are mainly looking at Reels. And you're not looking at Reels, well, Instagram's gonna predict that you're going to like Reels. So it's going to only show you first, remember, only 4%. It's going to show you, of all the people you follow, it might show you the 4% of the people you're following who are using Reels. Interesting.
Very interesting. So here's the code for 2020. Instagram serves us posts, which it determines you most want to see based on your own activity and behavior. As such, you see posts from accounts that you've interacted with most recently. And it makes sense. If Instagram is constantly showing us posts that we are constantly interacting with, well, then we're going to interact with them. We're going to stay on the platform and we're going to come back for more. It makes sense from Instagram's perspective. But the question is, of course, how do you get people to actually engage with your own posts? How do you get your own engagement up?
And the good news is that is what we are going to show you tonight. And this is really important because first of all, you need to know what counts as engagement, right? So engagement is a whole lot of things you might not even realize. Some of those things include so your likes, that's engagement. Comments are engagement. Direct messages are engagement. Saves, shares, the length of time. Even if you don't like, you don't share, you don't save, but you're spending a considerable amount of time or like even rewatching a reel, that counts as engagement. All of these things count as engagement. Additional things that count is when I'm watching somebody's stories, that counts as engagement. And that engagement is likely, that tells Instagram, uh-oh, this person's watching this person's stories, so let's serve them up what they just posted to their feed. Mm-hmm. And not just stories, but story interactions, all those interactions. So like when you're watching, you guys have done this, right? Let me know. Are there people who you watch on their stories, but you never respond to their polls? You don't interact with when they ask questions or when they do a yes-no poll or a slider poll. If you don't interact with those stories, then Instagram it says, oh, you're not that interested. So the key is, if you want Instagram to keep pushing your content out, it's got to collect as many data points from each one of your followers of all of these things as possible. That, my friends, is why your engagement is down. Okay, Brock, can you take the screens down for just a second?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is really important, you guys. This means that it's not that your engagement is down. It's that there's all these new ways now on Instagram, new data points that it's pulling in, because the problem is on Instagram, we are all following so many people that Instagram it's artificial intelligence is saying, well, let's figure out who this person is most interested in seeing.
Shalene, I need you to refocus your camera. You might have got a little makeup smudge on your camera. Just put your hand up close to it, move it away. wipe off your camera, whatever you got to do. You're a little bit out
Is
of
it clean
focus for
now?
us right now.
I mean, is it? I don't know how to do that.
Anyways,
How's that?
we'll work on that while we're sharing our slides. Can we pull the slides back up? I think tonight is cursed. This is the Zoom of 2020.
Yes.
How engaged people are with your content also predicts how engaged they will be in the future. It predicts how much reach your future posts will get. And so here are the rules of engagement, and this is specific for your Instagram feed. This is not your Instagram stories. These are the rules of engagement for your Instagram feed. Ask a question in your caption. Go ahead, Shalene.
Well, I was just going to see if I can't. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Ask a question in your caption. That's one great way to get engagement. Another is to give your audience an actual reason to engage. Incentivize their engagement. Why should someone save your post? Save this post so that you can come back to it later. Share this post with a friend so that they can also learn this content. Like this post so that you see it more regularly. Give your audience a reason to engage. Keep their intention. That's another great way to boost engagement. Longer captions, videos, IGTV content, carousels, reels, things that keep people on your post for longer. The longer they're on your post, the better you will do in the algorithm. Use comment-based calls to action. So that's calls to action. Like maybe you saw my post today that I made on my feed where I posted some of my recent Halloween costumes, and I said, comment which one was your favorite. That's a call to action. It's a call to comment. It's a call to action so that you comment something that I want you to comment. Reply to all comments. That's literally going to double your number of comments. Because if you get 10 comments and you respond to all 10, well, guess what? Now you have 20 comments. So reply to every comment that you get. At someone who is just a liker. Let's say you just started on Instagram and you got 4 likes on your picture this morning and you got 0 comments. Well, use the @ symbol and mention someone who did like it and thank them for it, or ask them a follow-up question, or ask them a question relating to the content. Maybe you get some likes, but you don't get any comments yet. Start the conversation for them. And then, of course, the best kind of comment that you can reply with is a question. Because when you ask a question, it starts the conversation. So whenever you can, have a follow-up question. This is something that I try to challenge myself to do anytime I'm responding to any comment, is to follow up with another question to keep the conversation going.
And again, many of the questions that I'm seeing right now on behalf of our participants are questions that have been answered in one of our previous trainings. We've done 3 prior to tonight, and so to respect those people who have been on all 3, we are not going to repeat information. You go back and watch those. A little bit of tough love for you. They're all filled with fire. Like literally, you need to go watch all 3 of them. They're fantastic, if I do say so myself, and you need to watch those. I want to mention, getting comments is work. Getting people to engage is work. All of this stuff is work, and there are no shortcuts. If you use a bot, if you use a program to do this, you will be penalized. And let me tell you, their artificial intelligence can pick up on this stuff. So it's really, really smart that you do a lot of the things that what we're talking about, and it will start to grab and momentum. The next way that you get, again, listen closely, the way that you get, follow me, the way that you get engagement on your feed can be affected by what you're doing in your stories. Because Instagram knows if you're interacting on my stories, that means you're someone who wants to go deep. We only look at the stories of people who are like, I want to know more about them as a person. So that's how we go deep. So that's why you've got to create variety in your stories. Because if your stories are so boring, it's the same thing. You're creating them in Canva. I don't know what's really going on. It's like they're just really boring. Then people aren't going to watch your stories. You've got to make sure that they're interesting. You've got to create variety. This means that you need to post throughout the day. Were you going to say something, Brock?
Yeah, I was just going to say, with your stories, vary the content. I was going to double down on what you were saying. If every single story is just a reshare from your feed, or every single story is just a boomerang after your workout, or every single story is just a text post or a screenshot from someone else in your company, it's boring as heck. I don't care if you think that your life is boring and you think not much is going on. You need to be documenting on stories, and using a variety of different content. Instagram allows you so many different ways of posting on stories. There's like boomerangs, pictures, videos, text posts. So a variety of posts. You also need to be posting throughout the day, because every single time you post on your stories, your bubble is moved back to the front of the queue, and your overall story will get more views, because if you're not watching till the evening and you post in the morning only, then they're never going to see your stuff. So post throughout the day. Respond to DMs. If you are getting any direct messages, respond to them. Pro tip, respond with an audio message to really build that personal relationship. Create curiosity with your stories.
And here's what Brock means by that, by creating curiosity. So someone said, so then stories don't matter? No, stories really do matter. They matter a lot. They matter a lot in this way. They're not going to help you reach new people. Not much. But what they do is that they engage the people who are already following you, and you need the people who are already following you to be very engaged. So your stories need to be very engaging, which means your stories need to be creative too. Not just creative, but valuable. They've got to be valuable. And you have more, what do you call it? Space, room, creativity, flexibility. You've got more range that you can do in stories, whereas on your feed, it might just need to be a niched type of content. But in your stories, you've got more latitude. That's what I was looking for. So when I say use your stories to co-create, this is what I mean. If you look at my stories, I will ask a question, like a poll, and I'll say, hey, so what are some of the things that you do to reduce stress? And I'll ask that in a question sticker. And then my audience replies. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot a lot of those answers, and I'm going to share them and say, this is some of the great stuff that came from you tonight. Like, so that my audience also feels like they're co-creating this content with me. They want to see what the answer is. They want to see what comes next. Like today, I posted, would you like to know how to have a swipe up feature without having 10,000 followers? I asked that question, and 91% of people said yes. And I intentionally waited an hour before explaining that we were going to learn that tonight inside our training. Interact with people on your stories, and the way you get them to interact is by using those stickers. You've got to reply to comments, ask a follow-up question. So it's dialogue. It's not a monologue. It's not like, I have followers. I am the leader here. It's like, no, this is a relationship. And you've got to use interactive stickers. Now, interactive stickers are really important. There's a lot of them, because you're physically getting people to interact with your story.
Here is the moment that we have all been waiting for.
Can we get a drum roll?
The drum roll. Since you talked about that on your story earlier today, here's how to share links without having more than 10,000 followers. And if anyone heard us say that and they were a little bit confused, basically, if you have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram, then you get this special feature that allows you to add a link to your stories. Like if you ever have seen us say, swipe up, that means you can swipe up and be redirected directly to this link. But it sucks because it's only for people with more than 10,000 followers. Like, come on, Instagram. But this workaround is super cool. It will save you time, and it actually has a higher conversion rate. So here we go.
Yes.
If you have less than 10,000 followers, then you can't actively have a swipe up link to your story. But what you can do is use the whole sticker right there, like this, and actually send a direct message directly from this story to anyone who clicks on our story, and it actually converts at a higher rate than just having.
Some people are saying they can't hear me correctly.
Well, you just turn up your monitor.
Okay, I will just I'll just speak it then. Basically,
okay.
Right here is one of these stories stickers that I've added. It's a poll sticker. It doesn't matter what you put as the options are for your poll. It doesn't matter what you say the two results are. It doesn't matter what your question is above the poll. But here's how it basically works. You will, let me see if I could play this for you here. Basically, once someone responds to your story, then you will be able to swipe up on the story. And when you swipe up, it reveals the stats on that story. It shows you like who viewed it, when they viewed it, and it will show you what they voted for. So you can tap on the people who voted. In this example, I said, click the green button if you want me to send you the link. Then I can sort it by anyone who clicked the green button by tapping on the 86 votes. And now it literally gives me a list of everyone who voted for that option. And look at this. I can tap on that paper airplane button right there and send them a message. So you can literally just tap that button and directly DM someone from your story. So you don't even have to have them swipe up. And now you've started a direct message conversation, and it converts at a way higher rate because you're not just hoping that they visit the link. You're not just hoping that they swipe up. You're literally sending it directly to them, and you're able to now have a conversation with them about it. So what we would recommend is to create a copy and paste message that you can paste right here, or you can create one of those text shortened messages like we talked about last night. Boom, pop it in right here, and that's how you can send hundreds of DMs at one time that contain a link.
And when Brock says one time, he means in one sitting.
In one sitting,
a recommendation, however, this is why we want you to and suggest that you use a text shortener, because if you're just doing a copy paste and sending the exact same message to too many people, then Instagram's going to go, oh, something spammy is going on here, and you may get put in probation. You may get put in Instagram jail, which is a real thing where they will basically put you on probation and not allow you to do anything on your account for a certain period of time. So I use this feature all the time. Brock, can you take the slides down for just a second?
Yes, I can.
I use this feature all the time. The reason why is, and I would love to know in the comments if this is true for many of you, if you follow certain accounts and they're constantly saying swipe up if you want this, swipe up, you just don't even pay attention to it. Let me know in the comments if you're like, yeah, I don't even pay attention to it. I don't like swiping up. Yeah. Okay. So I've got to change it up. I've got to create some variety. And it's a subconscious decision when you're telling someone to tell you to select, yes, I want the link. Yes, send it to me. And now it's very personal. Now I'm DMing with you. So now if I put a swipe up, think about it. I don't know who swiped up. How do I follow up if nobody swipes up? If you're in network marketing, okay, so I hope your ears are perking for it. If you're in network marketing, if you offer any kind of service, if you offer any type of program, and you say to your audience, let's just pretend you have 10,000 followers, and you say to your audience, hey, swipe up if you're interested in what I do as a realtor. Swipe up and if you're interested in watching a video about what it means to be a distributor for Rodan and Field. Swipe up if you're interested in my services as a massage therapist, whatever. When people swipe up, you have no way, zero way of following up. And the riches are in the follow-up. If, I see you adjusting that camera with your foot, Gabby. If I tell people, if people say, yeah, send me the link, now I'm DMing. Now I have a thread. Now I have a history. Now I can create a relationship. It's so much better than a swipe up. So everyone who's like so excited about getting a swipe up, y'all, swipe ups don't help you. Swipe ups are for influencers. They don't work as not near. If you need relationships, which all of you do, if you have a small account, you're going to build your account by having real relationships. Swipe ups don't build anything. You like that? Oh, people are loving this. Okay,
people
cool.
are loving that. I like what Sally said. Fortune is in the follow-up.
That's right, baby. All right, so let's talk about a checklist.
The checklist to maximize feed engagement. These are the steps that you need to follow in order to maximize engagement the next time you post. So tomorrow morning, when you go to make your killer post on your Instagram feed, follow this checklist. Write it down right now. Follow this checklist. Number one, before you even post, you need to be posting on your stories prior to that post. You need to be hinting at what you're going to be posting about. You need to post some kind of sticker talking about, hey, I'm going to be sharing this kind of thing later. Would you be interested in it? Yes or no? You need to be posting on your stories ahead of time.
I got to tell them why though, Brock.
Tell them why.
Okay.
Oh, you got a whiteboard out tonight. Look at you.
Yes. When you post to your story, if your people regularly follow you, your story feed shows up in order of the time in which you posted. So if you follow 20 people and 10 of those you interact with a lot,
Hold it close
One-
to the screen for us. Can you hold it close to the screen
Yep,
for us?
the person who just posted most recently is going to show up here. So now it's top of mind when we talk about Tom. So there's TOP, time on platform, and then there's Tom, top of mind. If you're seeing me at the top, at the very front of your stories, it reminds you, and you're gonna watch that, and so then when you watch my story, that tells Instagram, oh, this person really likes this person, so that's gonna push my content into the feed. So that's why I'm always gonna post to my stories just before I post to my feed.
Stories before posting to your feed. Then you post your content. So before you even post your stories. Then post your content. Then comment your hashtags. We talked all about that yesterday. We're not going to go back. Comment your hashtags. Number 4, like the comments from the previous day's post. Let me pause.
This is huge.
Describe to you what we mean. This is a huge growth hack. And
People don't even know this stuff. You guys, like right now, like this is freaking gold. Lean forward, take notes. This is so gold.
Right here. When someone comments on your post, you can reply or you can hit the little tiny heart and like it. It doesn't do much for the algorithm if you're liking the comment. So when you get a new comment, don't like it. It's not going to make a difference if you do or you don't. Don't like it yet. But the next day, when you go to make your next post, go back to the previous post and like any comments that you have. When you like those comments, all of those people will get a notification. Hey, Lindsay just liked your comment. Hey, Colleen just liked your comment. Hey, Anna just liked your comment. Then they'll be like, wait, who liked my comment on what? They'll go back to your profile to figure out what the heck is going on, and they'll see that you made a new post.
Lindsay is nodding. Lindsay's like, yes, 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 yes. I do this all the time. I do this to so many of you probably. And then you know what happens? People will screenshot and go, Shalene Johnson liked my comment. Yep. I liked your comment a day after you left it.
So again.
And I did that intentionally because I'm like, woohoo, hello. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm about to post to my feed. Knock, knock, knock.
So again, when you get a new comment, reply, but don't like it. The next day or whenever the next time you post on Instagram is, then you go back and like those comments. Then the next step in your checklist is to share the feed post to your story and add some kind of curiosity. So to do that, when you're looking at your post on your feed, you just hit the little paper airplane button. When you're looking at the feed post, there's a little paper airplane button. It's next to the like button, and hit that, share your post to your story, and add some curiosity to it. Just yesterday, I posted a reel. It was a public service announcement. I shared it to my story, and I put some like red siren emojis. I put those over the top of the text. And then I added a text that said, this is a public service announcement. Well, guess what? Now everyone's curious. They're like, well, what is the announcement? What is he saying? What is it? They'll have to tap on the post to find out. Then once they're on the post, then they're going to engage. They're going to like it because their attention's already grabbed. They're already there. So share it with some kind of curiosity. If you just share your whole post and give away your whole feed post in your stories, then why the heck would someone move from your stories to your feed? Why the heck would they go engage with your feed? Share it with curiosity.
I would love to know, if I can, in reading people's comments, can you guys let us know right now on Facebook and our VIP group? I would like to know, where do you personally look first? Are you looking at other people's feed posts or their stories?
Everyone's saying stories.
Ooh, lot of stories. Yeah, if it's someone who I really like, I find them very interesting, I'm in their stories. Mm-hmm. And then I check their feed probably every other day. But there's certain people I watch their stories every day. Now, here's what I want you to know. When I want someone to go look at my feed, and I know listen, can you take me off take this slide down for a second? Your most engaged followers, the people who really like you, the people who are really interested in you, even if they're just lurking, they're on your stories. People don't lurk on your feed. They lurk in your stories. So I have to sell you on why I need you to leave stories for a minute and go look at feed. Stories feels like its own platform. It feels like, it doesn't even feel like you're on Instagram. You're just like, I'm just in stories. I'm not leaving stories. It's my job to convince you to go look at my feed. And here's what won't cut it. Are you ready? sharing my feed posts, and that's it. You're like, it's not good enough. I'm not leaving. I'm busy. I'm comfortable. I'm comfy. I got my comfy clothes on. I got my hair up in a messy bun. I'm not leaving to go look at the feed. So here's what I do. I'll lead up to it and I'll say, guys, you have to understand that in order for you to bring your Instagram account back to life, you need to create shareable content. And then I'll ask them to interact. So give me a yes or no if your engagement is down. And they say yes. I say, okay, listen, if you just said yes, your engagement is down, I need you to go look at my feed because I just posted a video just for you in my feed that's going to tell you how to fix this. Mm-hmm. You see? See what I'm saying? So like you have to sell it. You got to sell it to get them over there. Just posting it, people are like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. Also, what doesn't work is just posting it and then saying new post. That's not doing very much for us. What is the new post? Why should I take my attention, my valuable attention, and move it from stories to the feed? And then the final step in this checklist is to comment on a few of your active followers' posts. So go to some people who are always engaging with you, go to other accounts in your niche, go to the big influencers who are in your industry, and start engaging there. And then finally, of course, and this is kind of like the overarching one, this might be number 7 on the checklist, but this is throughout this whole process. When you get a new comment, engage back with them, comment back with them, have a follow-up question, respond to all comments, but don't like them until you post the next time.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people asking, can you give us examples of how to do this for a product? Yes, I can. Why do I need your product? What does your product solve for me? Is it a cute blouse? Is it a water bottle? Is it a journal? Well, help me understand before you tell me to go look at it. Like, get me excited about why do I need new clothes? Why do I need whatever product it is you're going to talk about? I do this all the time. And sometimes it's just literally a product that I love. It's not something I'm selling. I am forever the girl you need to watch on stories if you want recommendations. I'm going to recommend you toothbrushes, makeup, lash glue, ring lights, stuff I don't sell, but I want you to trust me that if I'm giving you a recommendation, it's freaking awesome and I've done my research. Those of you who are only selling your product and your shit, I know you're just selling. You don't really care about me. You're just selling me your shit. Tell me all the things that I should buy from you. Tell me about the best place to eat. Tell me about the cool thing you found on Instagram, even if you don't get an affiliate cut for it. Yesterday I suggested a $1.99 brush that scrubs and exfoliates your scalp that you can get on Amazon. You put it in your shower. I'm not getting paid on that, but I want you to think, you know what? Shalene finds the best stuff and I trust her. And you need to do that too. You already love certain things, so stop just talking about your product. You're going to get unfollowed. People are not going to tune into your stories. They're not going to engage if all you're doing is talking about one thing.
Absolutely. And of course, like you were just kind of talking about, building that trust, that's ultimately how we transition people from followers to customers. You have to build that trust. You have to build that relationship. The modern consumer is going to buy from the person they trust the most. They have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you if they're going to become a customer. Luckily, social media was invented as a place where we can build relationships. That's what it's for, is to build relationships. But here's a big fact. Relationships take time.
And relationships literally happen for the most part on your stories. And so that's why these two things work together. It's in your stories where you have permission. I would never in a million years post to my feed about a $1.99 thing that I use in the shower. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because my deepest, most committed, most connected followers are following my stories. They've given me permission. When someone follows you on your stories, they're giving you permission to share more things I still only share things that I think are valuable. Sometimes it's valuable because it's funny.
Yep.
Sometimes it's valuable because it's just going to save you money, but it's valuable because I'm building a relationship with you. I'm not going to share things that just are good for me.
Mm-hmm. So I saw some people asking earlier, I saw a ton of people asking earlier actually, can we stray from our niche on stories? Yes,
yeah,
you can, but keep it valuable. Even if it's something that's just really beautiful, something that's really funny, something that's really cute, you can stray from your niche on your stories as long as you're keeping people engaged. Fact, relationships take time, and one of the best ways besides stories to build those relationships is through the Instagram direct messages because you're able to literally have a one-on-one communication with somebody. So here is how you save time with Instagram DMs, and it's through quick replies. I don't think we're going to be able to hear the audio on this, so I'll talk you through it. But basically, you're allowed to do this thing called a quick reply on Instagram stories, and it's very similar to the text replacements that we were talking about yesterday. So all you're going to do is hit that little plus button next to where your message would be typed. Hit that plus button, and then it will open up these 4 options for you, and you're going to hit the 4th one, the one that has the dot, dot, dot. It's the little speech bubble with the dot, dot, dot. You hit that, and it will open up your quick replies. These are all the quick replies I have. So if I tap on any of these right now, it will populate for me. Or if I type in something like PP, it says, thanks so much for the shout out. I'm glad you liked the episode of the podcast. Is there any topics you'd like us to cover in a future episode? Basically, this saves you time with the responses that you're saying over and over again. So it's still you, it's still your speech, it's still the things you're saying all the time, it's still in your vernacular, but it's just saving you time. So when you open this, if you've never used this before, you won't have any quick replies, but all you have to do is hit that little plus button in the upper right, and then let's create a new one right now. So I can type JJJ, and let's say that I want JJJ to say like this message, so that from now on, whenever someone follows me, I can type JJJ, and it automatically populates a message that says, hi, thanks so much for following me. I really appreciate it. What kind of content would you prefer from me? Workout tips or nutrition hacks? Now, anytime someone DMs me, I can or follows me, I can quickly type JJJ, and boom, it populates this entire message for me just like that. If you want engagement, you have to ask for it. This is something we mentioned earlier. If you want engagement, you have to ask for it. So here are some ideas of ways to ask for engagement.
Hey, Brock, can I
Yeah.
share my screen for a second?
For sure.
Okay, let's see if we can't do this. You tell me if you're seeing it.
We can see your notes, yep.
Okay, cool. So I have, my suggestion to you is you can use the feature that Brock just shared with you, or you can use the feature as it exists on your phone. I prefer the one that exists on your phone. So whether you're Android or Apple, you can create all of these shortcuts for things that you get asked all the time. So one of the top questions I get all the time is, will Marketing Impact Academy help me if I'm in network marketing? So that's a long reply. You guys can see my screen right now, right?
Yep.
So I just typed in 3 letters and it gave them this nice long reply, because I'm going to get asked that question all the time. Let me show you all the different ways I can say thank you. Will this do that for me? Oh, shoot, I can't do those. But all of these quick replies, let's see if we can do this one. Why won't it do that for me now?
Try hitting enter, return.
I did. Yeah. I have hundreds of them. And that's one of the easiest ways that we can help you save time, because you do have to interact, but we don't want you to be stuck on your phone for hours. And if you've got long, quee nails and you're trying to type and then you're hitting backspace and delete, like it could take forever to type one of those long messages. If I know that I'm going to be asked a lot of questions, like, so for example, many of you have been asking questions about Instagram to us in our DMs. And so I've created a quick reply that says, hey, we're not answering those questions in our DM. That's what the boot camp's for. Like, I have no way of checking for people who are sending me DMs, like, are they actually in the boot camp? And so I need to give my time to you. So I've created a long reply that's still very friendly, and all of you should be creating a multitude of quick replies that are longer and more thoughtful, because you're going to get a great question from someone who's on Instagram right now, but you're at dinner with your family. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to step outside for 15 minutes to compose a reply to them. Create them in advance.
All right. Another great way to use this quick text shortener feature is to create a text shortened message that you can send to new followers. That is something we recommend you do. Whenever you get a new follower, especially if you're growing your following a little bit slower, or maybe there's only a couple new followers per day. For Shalene and I, it might not make sense to try to DM hundreds of people every single day who come in as new followers, but especially